I have a lot of clients in my private practice that have suffered from this. I've heard from a lot of you on Tumblr, on Twitter, even on my website that you've either known or you do suffer from this. And what I'm talking to you a little bit about today is cutting. I know some of you are thinking, oh, I don't want to talk about that. And some of you are thinking, oh my gosh, I've been suffering for that for years. What do you have to say about it? And others are thinking, oh, my best friend does that. I need tips. How do I help? What do I do? Well, today's video is just going to give you a little bit of kind of the therapeutic view of cutting. And to kind of start off, I want to let you know that first of all, cutting actually, and unfortunately, is not in the DSM as an actual diagnosis. It's kind of something that comes along with other diagnoses. They have it listed under things such as borderline personality disorder. A lot of it comes along with eating disorders. Obviously, I know some of you may suffer also from an eating disorder as well as from self-harm behavior. And another thing that I want to address right away is that I am in no way condoning this behavior. Everything that I say today isn't meant to glorify nor shame any of these behaviors. I just want to shed a little light on something that isn't really talked about, the same way that I'm doing with eating disorders. Does that make sense? And I also will not approve any comments below that say, this is how I do it, this is a better way. I do not promote that kind of content. Nothing that I do I don't want to promote any more self-harming behavior. Whether we're talking about actual self-harm like cutting and scratching, things like that, or eating disorder behavior. I'm trying to promote wellness, right? Healthy mind, healthy body. That's kind of where we're going. So that's just a little disclaimer because I know that this topic comes with a lot of heat. Okay, so cutting. Some of you may do it yourself. Some people might know someone who does it. Why do people do it? The quick answer, you have 30 seconds, tell me what you know, would be that it's almost the same reason that we have eating disorders. We use the cutting and the scratching. Some people even bang their head on walls and things like that. We use that behavior as an outlet for unwanted emotions. Right? I've said that before when it comes to eating disorders. And the strange thing about cutting is that it has the same feeling to a lot of people that for anorexics when they are in a starvation mode for, who knows how many days on end, and for bulimics and binge eaters when they're binging. It's that same kind of out of body, lack of even any sensation. You're kind of just not even yourself. You're almost watching yourself do that. Remember when I talked about that in my bulimia and my binge eating videos, I talked about that out-of-body experience? A lot of people that I worked with before who've done self-harm behaviors explain it like that. And I know for many of us who don't engage in that behavior, we can think, oh my gosh, that has to hurt so bad. Why would anybody do that? I hate scabs and bleeding. Ugh. It's not about the pain. It's not even about the blood, to be honest. It's actually a release. When someone actually cuts themselves because they're in control of the self-harm behavior, when they're cutting themselves, there's no fear. Like when we fall and scrape our knees, we have that fear reaction. We throw our hands down, right? We don't want to hurt ourselves. We don't want to scrape or bump or break a bone. But for them, they're in control of it. So it's a very different experience. And a lot of people get confused with that and they think that it's a fear they're recreating, or I don't know, maybe they've been cut by a parent. It's not anything to do with that. And it's not attention seeking, because cutters usually hide all of the wounds and the scars that have built up. They usually cut in places that are easy to hide with clothing, like upper arms or thighs. You might have someone in your life who's doing it that you don't even know is doing it. So why do they do it? If they don't really do it for attention and it's not about the pain, why would anybody choose to cut? It's the same as an eating disorder. Nobody chooses to do it. I'm not condoning the behavior either. I don't want anybody going out back home and trying this. This isn't something to try. This is a really difficult thing to get over. It's like somebody saying they want anorexia. Oh, I wish somebody just give me anorexia. Or a bulimic, somebody saying, I always want to be bulimic. No, you don't. And if you suffer from an eating disorder, you're like hell you do. This is the worst thing that's ever happened to me. I can't get out of it. I'm caught, right? Same with cutting. It's just as bad. It's just as hard. But people tend to do self-harm behaviors kind of to seek normal. Now, I know many of you are thinking, what the heck do you mean seek normal? Nobody cuts. It's a recreation, and this is the therapeutic mind. You know, just humor me for a little bit while I explain how therapists talk about this. This is, let's say I'm a little girl, and I have parents who aren't really helpful. They're not around. They kind of abandon me, but not in the real sense of the word. They're there. Maybe my mom is drugged out all the time, or she's drinking. Maybe my dad is sexually abusing me. It doesn't have to be sexual abuse, but just for this example, let's say my dad is sexually abusing me, and it's painful. So I'm recreating the pain, and that pain, as sad as it sounds, is almost a comfort. Does that make sense? I know that's really hard to fathom, but and that's just one example. Many of you, I'm sure, have a ton of other examples and experiences with self-harm behavior and why you do it. And I would encourage you to share how you've maybe worked through it, what you've noticed and learned from your experiences, because that's kind of more what I'm into cultivating here, is us learning from one another so we can move forward. But the truth behind cutting is a lot of it has to do with a comfort. It's a release. It's the same way we use our eating disorder. I don't know if any of you can kind of make that parallel that I'm trying to draw, but what we're really doing, and that's why I say it's not about the pain. It's like somebody saying that eating disorder is about the food. It's not about the food. It's about a lot of other things. We just choose to focus on the food, right? So they choose to focus on the blood and the scabs and the scars and the cutting, and it's all about hiding. It's very sneaky and it's very shame-filled, the same way an eating disorder is. And that's kind of just we're just scratching the surface, no pun intended, I'm sorry, but we are just getting into this in a way so that we can begin talking about this, because just like eating disorders, cutting and self-harm behavior isn't talked about enough. And it's not even recognized as a real diagnosis in the DSM, which really frustrates me. It's only listed as like a subset of other diagnoses, but we know that it's a huge issue and it's a problem. The same way that eating disorder is a problem and nobody really talks about them that much. And that's why I created this video this week, is so that we can begin talking about self-harm behavior. And I would encourage you to leave your comments below, and the comments that I would prefer to be left are things like, this is what I did to help myself get better. These are things I've learned from my therapist or through my own experience. Like I said, this isn't a playground for this. These are ways to better do self-harm behavior. That's not what I'm wanting to create. Let's help each other. If you have a workbook that's really helped you, that you've worked on with your therapist, let us know about it. Put the link down so we can find it. Let's help each other as we work harder, because these issues, eating disorders and self-harm behavior, are really difficult. And I want to create an environment and a community that is supportive. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel, because this is only the beginning of our conversation about this. And so when I post another video, you'll hear about it. And don't forget my website, katiemorton.com. There's a lot of great feedback on there, a lot of journals. Feel free to vent about things that are going on with you. People post art, whatever you need and you want, it's on there. So definitely check it out. And keep taking these steps with me as we work towards a healthy mind and, of course, a healthy body.